Alrighty, so today I'm going to be talking about the 2013 El Reno EF5 tornado. This tornado happened on a Friday night right when people were coming home from Oklahoma City, coming back home from work, and it grew to be 2.6 miles wide, which is a new record in tornado history. So the El Reno tornado was actually forming just 8.3 miles southwest of the city of El Reno, and when it first touched down, it was only an EF3 rating, so nobody took it really that serious, and nobody thought it was going to travel as far as it did. So once it hit the city of El Reno, nobody was really home. It was a really bad situation. So this is important to you because living in Oklahoma and now storm season approaching, we are due for another tornado like this, and a lot of weather reporters, including meteorologists and people at the National Weather Service in Norman, are predicting the storm season to be pretty bad, including Saturday. Saturday's probably our worst day for it. So, in this tornado, the wind speeds exceeded 300 miles per hour, and to put it into perspective, a NASCAR driver only goes 180. So the houses were actually wiped off the slabs, and the concrete slabs themselves were completely gone. In my speech, I will be informing you all about the widest tornado ever recorded, along with explaining its early stages, once it touched the ground, and also the rescue efforts that followed. But first, we'll begin with what started this catastrophic tornado. So the city of El Reno is located roughly about 28 miles from Oklahoma City. It is a pretty small town with only about 6,000 to 10,000 people around that time. And that day, the area was placed under a high threat for severe weather, along with a tornado watch that lasted all throughout the day. The town itself pretty much closed down around 5 o'clock because that's when they were predicting the storms to get the worst. And in a journal published by Anton Simon, the first ground contact was actually at 6:03 p.m., which was right during rush hour traffic. Again, it did not hit El Reno at the time, but everyone had it in their minds. So now that we know a little bit more about the conditions, we will talk about why it was on the ground. Within 30 seconds after touchdown, this tornado grew to be 2.6 miles wide. It was also rain-wrapped and completely dark, so nobody could see it and nobody knew where it was going. It killed a team of storm chasers known as Twistex. They drove a Chevy Cobalt, and there's actually a video on YouTube. You can look at the headlights. This guy was running away from the storm. You see their headlights, and then you just see him disappear. So it wasn't the tornado that took them. It was a vortex, which is basically just a high thing of wind. It got them and sucked them right in. So they weren't even near the tornado when they got sucked into it. Their car was thrown several miles away, and it was a dad, his son, and his friend, along with OU meteorology students that also got killed as well. And in a journal published by Howard Bluestein, which is also a former meteorology student at OU, 24 vortexes were tracked over a 2-minute period, which is extreme and also very, very deadly. So these vortices had extreme wind speeds, making them past 300 miles per hour. That can take a tree, and that's why when you see tornado videos and you see like trees fly into it, the tornado's not even there yet. It's those kinds of things that take it with it. So now that we know a little bit more about while it was on the ground, we'll talk about aftermath, which was the search and rescue. The tornado itself lasted 40 minutes on the ground without lifting off once, and it traveled 16.2 miles going straight through the heart of El Reno, Oklahoma. That's why in the new Twisters movie they used El Reno, because this tornado had so many different factors to it. One being it was so wide, the other being nobody knew where it was going, and it changed patterns about 3 or 4 times. So it caught so many storm chasers off guard, and this is the first ever tornado to kill storm chasers. So the survivor, Tom Easley, wrote a book after being trapped in his vehicle at the time of the storm. His vehicle got lofted into the air, he got thrown out, and he was laying on the ground when a little savior for him picked him up and drove him to the nearest hospital. On his drive there, he saw several people just laying out on the ground of their vehicles. He believes they did not make it, and he almost didn't make it as well. There was 8 fatalities and 151 deaths. 8 fatalities, 151 injuries. All those fatalities occurred in vehicles. The injuries occurred in houses. Now, this tornado, meteorologists did say, take shelter in an actual storm shelter or you will not live. However, these people that died were actually in their cars, and their cars got tossed several miles away. Some people even found picture frames all the way in Indiana. That's how far stuff got tossed. So now that that's covered, we can go ahead and wrap it up. This was, again, the widest tornado ever recorded at 2.6 miles wide in a span of 30 seconds. And no, you do not need a time lapse for it. You can watch it in 30 seconds and it grows to be the hugest tornado in Oklahoma's history and in the history of the world ever recorded. One of the most dangerous and unpredictable tornadoes, again, it just changed paths several different times and it killed several people in doing so because the original path it was on, even meteorologists were blindsided by how quickly it would change paths, and they were informing the wrong people to take cover when they should have been informing other people to take cover. This tornado is, however, fascinating because it's the first tornado to ever kill storm chasers. Everyone thought a tornado way sooner would kill them, but unfortunately it was this one, and it also killed meteorology students at OU. So